So we are on chapter 4, text 23. And here in 22, Krishna defined, we're talking about a great person, a saintly person, that who is satisfied with gain, which comes of its own accord, who's free from duality and does not envy, who's steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. And such a person, Krishna is saying, the work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence, which means that you're able to. So, when you are detached from the outcomes, detached from the material modes of nature, then you're attached to Krishna. Then you're able to connect with Krishna and act 100% in Krishna consciousness. Right now, when we do something, there is something for me, something for Krishna. One pocket for me, one pocket for Krishna. One pocket for me, one pocket for Krishna. But in this case, Krishna is describing somebody who's a pure devotee, who's absolutely perfected soul. And such a person is all the qualities that are given in the past verses, as well as such a person is unattached to the modes of material nature. That means sattvic, rajasic, tamasic modes. They are not attached to anything related to those modes. Or, in other words, they are detached from matter and they're attached to transcendence or Krishna consciousness. That they're purely on the spiritual platform. And thus, when you're detached from matter, you're attached to Krishna, and eventually your consciousness is completely in transcendence. What is transcendence? Transcend means that is, it's beyond certain thing. So in Bhagavad Gita context, transcendence is beyond the three modes of nature. So some of us are sattvic, some of us are sattvic rajasic, some of us are rajasic tamasic, some of us are rajasic tamasic sattvic combination, right? But all of that are material. Even if you're 100% on the sattvic platform, which is rarely true, almost never true, there's always some combination of the three modes. But let's say you're also still on the sattvic platform, still it's material, right? You're doing great charity, you're worshiping the demigods, you're doing your sandhya vandanam and all of that, all the rituals and everything. That's all mode of goodness, that's sattvic, but that is still material. Beyond that, beyond sattva, is shuddha sattva or transcendence, and that is fully spiritual, and that's where Krishna consciousness is, because that is what we are all aiming for. We are not aiming to be the best yogi, the best jnani, the best karmi. We are aiming to be the best devotee, right? So, and that's where devotional service lies, is transcendence. So such a person who's detached from matter and attached to Krishna and has all these other qualities we have studied in the past few verses, that culminates into that. So how do you know somebody is transcendental? How do you know somebody is a tattvadarshi or seer of a truth? How do you know somebody is worth accepting as a guru? This is how you know. These are the various qualities that have been given. So by looking at these qualities, by observing these personalities, and side by side looking at Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna is saying, we can see, yes, this is a true personality. So I'll read again. 21. Krishna says, such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled. That means his anger is in control, his speech is in control, his desires are in control. Mind and intelligence are in control. Gives up all sense of proprietorship over possessions. I and mine, my family, my country, my product, my business, my house, my wife, my children, etc. Right? Giving up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life, where the need is. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. He who is satisfied with gain which comes from its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. So these are some things when you know. So when a person is going through difficult situations, the real person comes out. It is said when a person is squeezed, what is inside, that's what really comes out. So when somebody is going through a difficult situation, it they might be normally very well poised and well behaved and well in everything, but the moment you poke them, the reality comes out. And for some people, that reality is very ugly. And so, for some people, that reality is very beautiful. So, for a transcendental person, a sadhu person, that reality is very, very beautiful. And that's what's inside, is what comes out when one is pressed, one is in a difficult situation. So, when you see somebody like that going through a difficult situation, you get to see that devotional qualities in that person manifest in this form, that they're steady in success and failure. They're never entangled, although performing actions. And they're detached from matter and attached to Krishna. Any questions so far? Is that clear?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I have a question.
Yes.
Prabhu, one is freed from all dualities. What is the duality being spoken about here? Can you give an example?
Good, bad,
Okay.
ugly, pretty, rich, poor, tall, short, happy, unhappy. All of these are dualities. And people, generally speaking, when there is success, they celebrate. When there's failure, they get into depression. But somebody who's not affected by dualities is somebody who is equipoised in those situations. Good things happen, Krishna's mercy. Bad things happen, Krishna's mercy. And they keep moving forward in their life's mission.
Got it, Prabhu. Okay. Uh, Prabhu, sorry, just one more question.
Yeah.
The work of a man who is unattached. I think in this yuga at least, I think the only work of a man, that man would be maybe just a sannyasi, right? I mean,
No, no. You could be a complete CEO, running businesses and having wives and kids and everything, and be completely detached, unattached, or detached. One of our acharyas, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who was
hmm,
Srila Prabhupada's grand spiritual master, he was like that. He had 10 children. He had a wife. He was a district magistrate of Puri. He was writing books. He had 2,000 Namahattas. He was preaching in 2,000 Namahattas in Bengal and Orissa, writing poetry, translating books, had a very hectic schedule. And he was completely detached, completely transcendental personality.
okay. So this is like attached but still detached.
No, you're not attached.
Like,
You're completely detached, but you're doing the duties by being detached.
physically in the world, but then yeah, still like completely.
Detachment doesn't mean physically not being in this world. You can cook in a non-stick pan, you can cook in an iron pot.
Hmm,
Both are cooking. In one case, the food gets stuck. In the other case, the food doesn't get stuck.
hmm.
Both are cooking. So you're earning, you're doing the job of a father, friend, husband, whatever you might be. But detached doesn't mean not from this world. It means using everything for Krishna's service, knowing detached from the proprietorship mentality. It's not mine, it is Krishna's.
Okay.
So whatever credit comes goes to Krishna,
Hmm.
right?
Got it.
Hare Krishna, Avelo.
Correct.
Hare Krishna, how are you?
I'm good. Long time no see.
Long time no see. Do you have a question?
The, I'm agreeing to what you're saying. This word, this detached, this is misleading. But being unattached, that word is much more appropriate in my opinion.
Sure, use it, unattached.
Nice. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. 24. Somebody wants to read?
Yes, bro, I want to go ahead.
Go ahead.
Brahmapanam, Brahmahavir, Brahmagano, Brahmanahutam, Brahmeva tena gantavyam, Brahma karma samadhina. A person who is fully observed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to the spiritual activities. In Veda, consummation is absolute, and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature.
Okay. I'll read some of the purport. Thank you, Prabhu. How activities in Krishna consciousness can lead one to ultimately to the spiritual goal is described here. There are various activities in Krishna consciousness, and all of them will be described in the following verses. But for the present, just the principle of Krishna consciousness described. A conditioned soul entangled in material contamination is sure to act in the material atmosphere, and yet he has to get out of such environment. The process by which the conditioned soul can get out of the material atmosphere is Krishna consciousness. For example, a patient who is suffering from disorder of the bowels due to overindulgence in milk products is cured by another milk product, namely curds. The materially absorbed conditioned soul can be cured by Krishna consciousness as set forth here in Gita. This process is generally known as yagya or activity, sacrifice, simply meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Krishna. So, like Sohil asked, so sannyasi must be the only person. But look at a sannyasi today. A sannyasi would have to deal with the cell phone, would have to deal with the car, would have to deal with projects and building ashrams or temples or preaching projects and whatnot. So you are using things from this world in service to Krishna, and there's no difference. According to our Bhagavad Gita, there's no difference between a sannyasi in saffron clad versus some sannyasi who is married and his consciousness is sannyas, right? He is liberated from the attachment of I and mine. This is my money, this is my this, my that. I'll do it only for my people, right? Another form of just to give you an example, right? Many of you have come here and many of you won't come here after maybe a few months. That doesn't stop me from extending myself to you, right? Because I have nothing to gain or lose from you. My only purpose here is to connect you to Krishna. I'm not running for election that I want you to vote for me or anything like that, right? My only service to you is I want to connect you to Krishna. So in that way, I'm detached from the outcome of how you end up doing it. If you become a devotee of Krishna, it will make my heart overwhelmed with joy and ecstasy. If you don't, I will pray for you that someday this happens. But the point is, that doesn't stop me or doesn't change my behavior towards you in any way or form. So that is an example of what detached active service looks like. Right? Detached devotional service looks like is it's not dependent on you. It's my choice to act in a way in service to Krishna, to do what I'm doing, regardless of the outcome. Does it make sense? Okay, there are some things in the chat.
No problem.
Love the example of non-stick pan. Okay, good. Deepak Saini. But Prabhuji, what I think that I am detached, this takes away the focus that I am putting in my work. Whenever my focus becomes deep in my studies, I become demotivated because I think I should be detached from the material world. So Prabhuji, how to maintain focus along with detachment? So let's say one of the temples got taken over by somebody in an unauthorized way, and you have to fight in the court of law to bring back the temple to ISKCON, to the devotees. Would you have to go through rigorous legal paperworks and read some of the laws, talk to lawyers, and deal with all of that? You would have to be deeply focused into the legal matters. Does that mean you're getting attached to the law? No. The purpose is to bring back the temple to devotees, which has been taken over by somebody else, some unscrupulous person. So in that case, your service is to go as deep as possible, focus fully into the legal matters, understand it and present it in the court of law, and win that case and bring back the temple for Krishna's service. So in that case, same thing with your studies. If you become a successful person, a good student, a good human being, a exemplary person in your profession, it will glorify Krishna, that, oh, Krishna devotees are successful spiritually and materially. So when you're studying, it's not like you're getting attached to your studies. It's you have to focus. You have to be the best student you can be, so that it glorifies Krishna. Your success should glorify Krishna. See it that way, and let that inspire you to be the best student you can be. Akshat, if I connect somebody or other living entity to Krishna, am I also detached? If I connect somebody, other living entity to, if you connect somebody to Krishna, yeah, of course, you're detached, because na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaya. You're not looking for money. You're not looking for following. You're not looking for, good-looking girls to follow you. All you're doing is connecting somebody who has come seeking Krishna consciousness and connecting them to Krishna, right? I hope I have not told any of you to be my follower or anything like that. My whole purpose is, here is Krishna consciousness, the way I want to present to you in a most human friendly form, in your way. You're entrepreneurs or students or lawyers or doctors or professors. I'm presenting to you in a way that you understand without changing the essence. And the only purpose is so you connect with Krishna. That's it. So there's no attachment there, right? Of course I love you. I have deep respect for you, that you have this desire to be with Krishna, but I don't. The moment I think you should follow me, then I am coming in between you and Krishna, and then the mercy gets stuck behind me. It doesn't follow through me or flow through me. But the moment I am connected you to Krishna, then I'm just a transparent instrument, just like these glasses. The light passes through these glasses to my eyes in a focused way, so I can see with clarity. If my glasses become sunglasses or they become opaque, then the light won't flow through and I cannot see anything. So the moment I am thinking, I need followers, I need money, I need fame, I need name, I need glorification, that moment I have stopped the flow of mercy from Krishna to you. And that's a disservice. And that's why all these so-called Babas and gurus in India get in so much trouble, because with the fan following, they forget what the purpose is. The purpose is to connect the living entity to Krishna. And that's it. You're just a messenger. The moment they come in the middle, like, I'm going to sit on this massive throne and I'm going to have all kinds of things and this is all for me, and eventually they start believing they're God and all of that happens, then of course things go wrong and mercy goes away. So it's all material thereafter. There is no spiritual activity there. So it is extremely important to be detached when preaching Krishna consciousness or when connecting somebody to Krishna, because to the degree you're detached, to that degree you're transparent. And to the degree you're transparent, mercy is flowing to that degree. I hope that makes sense. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Rodoshi is saying, wow, Prabhuji, very nice, touching explanation. Thank you so much, Rodoshi. All right. So let's read this translation one more time. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. So just like a boy and girl in love, right? Or whoever, two human beings in love, I should not make it gender biased. Two human beings in love, when they're in that state, they are seeing everything around the world in relationship to that relationship. Because it's like, oh, that flower, it'll be nice to offer that flower to my beloved. Oh, there is that nice food. Oh, I'm thinking of you while eating this food. Exactly same thing we do in bhakti with Krishna, right? Krishna, I made something nice preparation. Here, please accept it. And then we accept the prasadam. Or Krishna is a beautiful flower for you. Please accept it. Or Krishna, here is a beautiful accolade I got. Please accept it. This is for you. All of these little awards you see behind me, whenever I get them, I'm like, Krishna, please accept it. This is for you. You gave me whatever intelligence, and this has come as a result of that. So this belongs to you. I'm offering this in gratitude to you. So like that, this verse is explaining that one who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because his full contribution to spiritual activities. So all these activities become spiritual. Whether you're a doctor, engineer, whatever you are, your activities become spiritual when the intent and the purpose is service to Krishna, gratitude to Krishna, right? Offering it as a loving offering to Krishna. All of that becomes spiritual activity. So whether you're ringing a bell on the altar or whether you're screwing a light bulb, both. So according to Srila Prabhupada, that if he was sharing this actually, that a person who's putting a light bulb in the temple versus a person who's on the altar, priest doing the arati, there's no difference to their services in Krishna's eyes. Krishna is seeing both of them as serving him. And when you make your house into a temple, and you're doing the same household chores, cleaning the house, putting things together, cooking, all of these become spiritual activities. Now when you see your office also as a temple of God, same way, your work, you can dovetail it towards Krishna consciousness. Like Arjun, his work is to fight, so he's dovetailed that is his service to Krishna. He's fighting for Krishna, right? So now it cannot be breaking any of the regulative principles and making that. So unless you're breaking any of the 4 regulative principles, you can use your profession, you can use your whatever God has given you in service to God, and that will be considered 100% spiritual activity. Okay, any questions, or else we'll move to 25.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Amit Prabhu.
Prabhu, I have a question. Can you explain work is like a worship or work is worship?
So the Bhagavad Gita way of doing it is work as worship.
Work is worship.
Work as worship, not work is worship. Right?
Yeah.
So you perform your work as if it's worship. When they say work is worship, then it becomes godless. That, I don't believe in God, I'm working, and that is my service to humanity, and that is my worship. So it's not, work is not your worship. The activity that you're doing, work as worship.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? I will not move to the future verses. I know in our Philosophy Friday group, many of you had questions, and I had told you you can ask them today. So you feel free to ask those questions right now. Amog Karnik is asking.
Prabhuji, one question. So just now
Just give
you
me
said
1
that
second. Let me
whatever you are working.
just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. So Amog Karnik, he asked, "Hello Prabhuji, I have started reading Gita and have completed reading chapter 3. I have a doubt in 35, 38. Should I ask now?" Yeah, you can ask now. Yes, go ahead, Deepak Prabhu. Whoever was asking me.
Yeah, Prabhuji. I was asking. So you said that whatever you are working, so you continue to do that, and that will also become a worship if
No,
you do it well.
I didn't say that.
No?
I didn't say that.
Okay, so
I said,
sorry.
whatever you're doing it,
sorry, my
do
mistake.
as a service to God. The consciousness is important.
Okay. Doing it as a service to God. So I just want to take some example. For example, if let us say if somebody is working in an office and he's kind of his day-to-day work, he is engaged. For example, if somebody is working in a bank or somebody is working in a shop or anywhere. So now you are saying whatever you are working, do it with Krishna consciousness. So that means his mind should be fixed in Krishna, and then he should continue to do. So something like that.
Something like that. So it's not possible to always have your mind fixed on Krishna while you're calculating your, the money and whatnot in the bank.
Right.
The point is, when you come in, you prime your consciousness. My dear Krishna, whatever activities I do, allow me to think of you and do it as an offering unto you. So if I'm counting money, let me be the best at counting the money, because that glorifies you, because everybody knows I'm a devotee of Krishna. Right?
Okay. Fantastic. Right. Great. Thanks. I got it. Thank you.
Avelo?
Yes. Shomajit, bolo.
Hello. The thing is, I also have a question. That is, whenever we are thinking of a startup or a business idea or a product or something like that, should we devote that idea or process that comes to our mind to Krishna? Because ultimately that inspiration should be coming from him, from that concept.
What do you mean by devote that idea to Krishna?
For example, just just out of the blue, I'm just saying, imagine I just sketch out a design of a bike
Mm-hmm.
or a car
Mm-hmm.
or an object or a machine or something like that. Should I say that Krishna guided my hands to create this, and this was
No,
his wish that this thing?
Krishna didn't guide your hands to create this. You created it with your karmic bank balance. By
Okay.
karma, you have some ability to do a drawing of a bike. Krishna has enabled the system for you. The fact that you have a body, the fact that you have this ability, Krishna has enabled the system for you. Now, inspiration strikes. And now, if you're a devotee, then you pray to Krishna, my dear Krishna, please inspire me to do the right things so I can progress
Yes.
in this direction. And that's when Krishna's involvement comes in.
Okay.
And the outcome that you get out of it, then you say, Krishna, you helped me, and this outcome is yours.
Understood. Makes sense. Long time I wasn't able to connect with you for a long time, but I kind of made sure this evening I am available.
I'm so happy you came.
Anyway, I'm
Hopefully, we'll
just
meet in
missing
person soon.
soon. I have some interesting things to discuss with you.
Definitely.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll just mute now. We'll
Yeah.
continue later.
Sure. Sanjeev is asking, Prabhuji, my wife was asking where in Bhagavad Gita it says that what food to eat and what not. I'm a beginner, hence need your guidance. Sure. Chapter 9, text 26, Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yume bhaktya prayachati. So patram as in leaf, pushpam as in flower, patram pushpam phalam, fruit, toyam, water. Krishna is saying, if you have nothing, even a person who have nothing, they have at least access to these things. Patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. So even if you offered this with love, I accept it. Right? So that's where it says that. And in chapter 3, Krishna has already spoken. We have already gone through that chapter where Krishna says that whatever you're eating, it should be offered to higher power. When you don't do yajna, when you don't do sacrifice, when you don't acknowledge the higher authority, where you're getting these food which is coming from rainfall, right, then you're being a thief. That's what Krishna says. You're being a thief by not acknowledging the source where this is coming from. And then later on in chapter 9, Krishna defines what kind of food can be offered to him.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sure. Okay, Sanjeev is done. Sohil is asking, so probably like dedicate our success to Krishna and have an attitude of gratitude towards Krishna for all the things that happen in life. Correct. Good or bad. Even bad things, that's the hard part, right? Even during when bad things are happening, the attitude of gratitude still stays and be like, Krishna, thank you very much. I'm sure there's a reason for it. And I'm sure it will manifest to me eventually. But thank you very much for this opportunity. Whatever I'm going through, I'm sure it is needed for where you need me to go. So having that attitude of gratitude at every step of your life, not easy to do, comes with practice, comes with proper philosophical understanding, but that's definitely it.
God, Prabhu. Thank you.
Sure. Kuheli is asking, what is the ideal time to get up in the morning to start your day with prayer and japa? Ideal time is 24 minutes before sunrise. So there's Brahma Muhurta, which is 24 minutes before sunrise and 24 minutes after sunrise. So that 48 minutes, that is a very powerful time. And if you can manage to wake up at that time and do your chanting and puja and all of that, it's very, very powerful. It's the best time of the day. Okay. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna,
I will-
Prabhu.
Hare
I had
Krishna.
So, Prabhu, the question is, since childhood we had said that that Harry, you are this body, you are this body, you are this body. So, my question is, I'm finding it now a bit challenging to convince myself that I am not this body and I'm this soul. So, can you help me understand the way your perspective is on this question, that you are not just this body, but you are a soul who is in service to Krishna?
Sure. Do you have pictures of your childhood?
Yes, I do have.
So has your body changed significantly since childhood?
Yeah, for surely it has.
So are you the body? Have you changed? You're still you, right? Your identity of I am Harish or Harry, however you call yourself, that identity, has that changed? I am, I exist, your awareness.
Mhm.
I'm not saying the thought process. I'm not saying skills, talents, all those external things. I'm saying the fact that I am, I exist. Is that the same person that you were when you were 5 years old?
Yes. Yeah.
That I, the sense of I am, that's you. That's the soul. That's the Atma. It's the consciousness. The body is changing. In fact, every 7 years, apparently, all the cells in the body gets replaced by new cells. So you have a new body every 7 years. So the body is changing. Hair might fall off, little, skin will change, everything will change. But you are still you.
I see.
That's the
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. So, Prabhu, you know what I'm facing again challenges realizing this truth. Of course, like the examples that you give, I understand that I'm not this body. But eventually, I guess my mind is conditioned in such a way that although I listen to you, but later, I'll just get into miss my normal thought process and do what early I was doing. So, do you suggest any way through which I can just fix this in my mind and
It's
just
not
act?
about fixing, Harish. It's coming to a realization. It's coming to a realization that I'm not this body, I'm spirit, soul. So you don't have to fix anything. As you become more and more Krishna conscious, Krishna will gift you with realizations. That's how he decorates his devotees. His decoration is with realizations that aha, I get it. That aha, I get it will come as you keep chanting and moving towards Krishna. Eventually, you'll realize the difference between body and me, right?
Mm,
So you'll be able to see from a third person's perspective how the mind is acting, the intelligence is acting, and the body is acting, the desires are acting, and none of those are you.
right, right.
And when you can see it from a third person's perspective, then you realize you're a different entity and these guys are trying to influence you.
Mm,
And now that you know who should influence you, Krishna, what knowledge should influence you, you can choose to say no to the mind or yes to the mind, depending on what you want to do.
mm. Just got that, Prabhu. Really, actually, I'm
I'll
experiencing.
just to continue with that, I'll just one more thing, a tool I'll give you. When you feel something, right? A mind is giving you a desire, right? Just say to yourself, my mind is feeling hungry. My mind is feeling lusty,
Mm,
greedy, or whatever it is, right? And just see it from angle. Interesting how the mind works. Interesting how the urges come.
mm,
Do I have control at this point to not have this bag of potato chips? Or can I control it? Am I
right.
choosing it? Or so when you have a thoughtful introspection, you will be able to distinguish the layers of the mind, the intelligence, the ego, and you, the soul.
Right.
But that clarity, that vision takes a lot of chanting to come to that level of clarity.
Mm, surely.
There's a movie I saw, I think it was called, I can't remember, Cindy or something, where they were showing this lady who was able to use like 70% of her brain and then 100% of her brain. And then she was seeing the world in a totally different way.
Avelo,
Lucy.
it's called
Lucy.
Lucy.
Lucy, that's right.
Mhm.
Powerful movie. And the whole time I was watching the movie, I was smiling. Because I was like, this is how devotees are. We see the world very differently and in very deep layers, subtle layers that most people don't see. A devotee can see because of the power of chanting and clarity of mind. And it's powerful to know that that's, even in a material sense, people are aspiring to be that. And that's what you get. But unless you have that, it's hard. So keep chanting, keep, focusing on the meditation aspect and the philosophy aspect. It will eventually be gifted to you by Krishna.
Surely. Thanks for answering. Hare
Mhm.
Krishna.
You literally connected visionary and the philosophy of being spiritual.
Okay.
With the connection of the movie Lucy, it makes sense. It's
Hmm.
really visualized in the perfect way.
Yes. I felt that. I felt so like this is exactly what
You don't need the drug. Meditation can have the same effect.
correct. That's right. Instead of that blue drug she was taking,
That's
meditation. Yes. Sorry, somebody. Okay, a lot of questions in the chat. Let's see. Sanjeev. Okay. Peace loving warrior. I don't know who you are. Can you, brother, define the timing of morning routine? I'm not what you mean by that. You can be more specific.
brother, Avelo, it's me only.
Oh, you. Oh, okay. It's you. So what do you mean by define the timing of morning routine?
That thing that 20 minutes before and after that thing you're telling about,
Mhm.
then there was somebody else talking, so I just skipped the question and kept it in as a text. That morning routine, when you should get up and the routine and all.
Hello, Avelo.
Um, Koheli, I'm just finishing off with Somajit. So, okay, I'll tell you the ISKCON way of doing it. We wake up in the morning, take a shower, and we do Mangalarati. After Mangalarati, there is meditation. So we chant Hare Krishna, finish our 16 rounds, and then there is Darshanarati. We see the Lord's face, and then there's Bhagavatam class. So we study the philosophy and then breakfast, and then we go to work. That's the basic morning. So if you're a brahmachari living in a temple, that's what you live by. And grihasthas try to do as much as possible of that. In my house, my mother wakes up 3 a.m. in the morning. She's pretty much a brahmachari with the female body. I don't know how she does it, but I don't wake up so early. Don't get me wrong. But she does that exact process every single day. It's powerful. I can't do it. I am way too tired to wake up so early in the morning. But yeah, that's the ideal kind of morning ritual. Okay. Yes, Koheli Mataji, go ahead. You were asking a question.
Yeah, that is what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
Most welcome. All right. Amit Ranjan saying, I wake up 4:30 in the morning, chanting time 5:20, 7 a.m. every day. Wow, that's amazing. That's fantastic. I wish I could do that. All right. Any other questions?
Avelo, just I need to discuss with you something. I took this moment. Is that at night, I don't know. I have seen a lot of incidents where at night I'd get a lot of visions, and most of the things, creative work I do is usually at night, and I don't feel like sleeping before I fall across 3 or 4 in the night. And it's like a constant thing, but I wake up around 10 in the morning and then start my day. Then how should I recalibrate myself to get back to this routine you are telling?
Have a set wake up time. What happens is the first couple of days you'll be really tired throughout the day, but then eventually the body will adapt. Well, you'll feel sleepy 8 hours before the wake up time. So if you set your alarm clock like, okay, I'll wake up at 5:30 in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning, no matter when I go to sleep. So if you go to sleep at 4 o'clock, you just had 2 hours of sleep and you woke up at 6, right?
Okay.
You'll be
Okay,
drowsy
okay.
throughout the day. It will suck. But then when at night you'll be so tired that you'll fall asleep by 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Right? And you do this for a few days, and it will kind of, if you can keep one thing static, the body will recalibrate itself, and
Okay.
you will get tired enough to get in that rhythm. But something
Okay.
has to have a grip on your anchor on your schedule.
Can I put that thing 6 to 7? Because I
Whatever.
need.
I'm just
Okay,
giving you a
okay.
random number. It can be 6,
Okay, okay.
whatever it might be.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay.
Krishano, you
Well,
had a question.
okay.
I saw you unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Actually,
Krishna.
I wanted to just ask that one Prabhuji was asking that, we at South India, we see that Lord Narayan form and we can't relate with Lord Jagannath. And
Is he here today?
I don't know, but I really wanted to have the answer. Like,
Oh
the story
man,
once again.
I wish he was here. He is not. Okay. Anyway, he'll see the recording. Good. Okay. So I'll answer that. So yeah. So in South India, predominantly there is Madhvacharya, and then there is the Sri Vaishnavas. So the Sri Vaishnavas worship the Lord as Narayan, and Vaikuntha mood is awe and reverence, Aishwarya Bhav, my Lord, diamonds and all of that. So Vaikuntha Narayan form is like that. Now, Krishna is very approachable. He's very accessible. The gopis tell him, Krishna, dance. Krishna dances because it's pure love. In Vrindavan, Krishna doesn't put them under illusion, yoga maya potency. So they don't recognize him as God. So they can treat him like an equal. There is no barrier. There is no awe and reverence. Krishna doesn't like awe and reverence. So Jagannath is the most approachable personality of Godhead who is basically the manifested form of Krishna's separation from his devotees. So just to tell the story, since you asked for it and we have a little time, Krishna, when he was in Dwarka, when he would wake up in the morning, his pillow would be wet. And his wives would wonder why Krishna cries at night. And one day Rukmini asked Krishna. Krishna didn't answer why he cries at night. And then Rukmini didn't ask twice, but went to mother Rohini and asked her. Rohini is Balaram's mother. So she said, when Krishna and Balaram are not in town, ask me this question and I'll tell you why. So Krishna Balaram went out of Dwarka for some work, and Subhadra was told, you be at the door and make sure, when you see Krishna and Balaram coming in the distance, you inform us. And all the 16,108 wives gathered around Mother Rohini and they started listening to why Krishna cries at night. And Mother Rohini started narrating Vrindavan pastimes of Radha Krishna and how Krishna misses Radharani and how the Radharani and the gopis miss Krishna, how Krishna's parents miss Krishna. So all the different devotees in Vrindavan, how they miss Krishna. And Mother Subhadra, she couldn't miss hearing all this. So she cracked the door open and she was listening very intently. And just hearing about the love of Krishna for the devotees in Vrindavan and how much Krishna is in pain, in separation from his devotees, she went into ecstasy and she melted, from her head down, she melted. Krishna Balaram, they came back and they saw that Subhadra Devi was lying like that, completely in ecstasy, in melted form. And Krishna Balaram put their ears to the door and they started hearing their own Vraj Leela. And they started remembering the pastimes with the gopis and Radharani and everything, and started, tears of ecstasy, tears of separation. And that's why you see Jagannath with big eyes. And if you see the big eyes, there's red around the entire eyes. So we have a little red dot at the corner of the eyes where we cry from. So Jagannath has a red around the eyes because he's crying profusely, right, in separation from Srimati Radharani. And so Krishna and Balaram also started melting in that form. And Narad Mundi happened to be flying by, like he always does, at the right time, at the right place, he's always there. So Narad Muni saw this form of Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, and he's like, this is the most beautiful form of the Lord I've ever seen. This is Krishna in ecstasy. So generally Radharani is crying for Krishna. But here, this is Krishna and Balaram, in separation from Radharani and the gopis, and they're crying for their devotees. And he had a desire seeing this form, that I wish all the people of Kali Yuga would also have access to seeing this form. And so I'm not going through the historical stories, King Indradyumna and all of that. That's going to take a very long time. But long story short, Lord Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra were established by King Indradyumna in Jagannath Puri on the banks of the Bay of Bengal, which is also called Nilachal Parvat, where the mountains are blue in color. And there used to be Nil Madhava before, who was worshipped by the pig farmers there. And then later on, Neelmadhava unmanifested there, and Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra manifested. They were carved by Vishwakarma, who's an engineer of the demigods, and he came and carved the deities of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. And he was invited by King Indradumna to do that under instruction. So he told King Indradumna that I'm going to lock myself in this temple, and I'm going to carve the deities, and do not interfere with my carving. Do not knock. Do not bother me. If you knock or if you try to open the door, I will leave unfinished. So King Indradumna was hearing every day, cut, there was noises happening. And one day he couldn't hear anything. And he was in so much eagerness, he couldn't stop himself, and he opened the door. And he saw Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra in that form. And he said, oh my God, they're unfinished. The hands are not finished. The face is not finished, etc. And he was, he couldn't find the engineer of the demigods, Vishwakarma. And he was like in very, very, deeply hurt situation. And then he was told by Jagannath that this is my form. This is my most merciful form, and this is how I look. And he said, ask for 3 things, King Indradumna. You've been so wonderful. Your eagerness for me is so beautiful. Ask for 3 boons. So King Indradumna asked that, my lord, may I never have a son. Because if I have a son, he will come and say, this is my father's property. This is my father's temple and all that. I don't want a son. Number 2, I don't want you to sleep. I want you to always give your darshan to devotees. And number 3, I don't want you to ever stop eating. You should always be eating Mahaprasadam. So if you see Jagannath temple even today, there's Chappat Bhog. That means every half an hour, Jagannath is eating, right? So he eats, he finishes off washing his hands, and the next meal is ready, right? I like that. 56 times he's fed in Jagannath Puri temple. And Jagannath, you can take darshan at midnight of Jagannath. He doesn't take much rest. And of course, there's amazing pastimes of Jagannath. But the point is, this is Krishna in his most intimate form, where there is no rules. He is worshipped by the pig farmers, right? He's worshipped by the Brahmins. He's worshipped by the Tantrics, right? And he comes out of the temple to make himself available to everyone, where anyone can touch him, hug him, kiss him, do whatever they want. The Lord of the entire creation, Lord Jagannath, that's the name. Jagannath means he's the Lord of entire creation. He comes out and he makes himself accessible to everyone. So that is Krishna in his most intimate format. And I don't know. For example, Westerners are not allowed inside, but if you're a Westerner or a Muslim or whoever you are, it doesn't matter. You can go and touch Jagannath and see Jagannath and pull his chariot, and we have complete closeness physically with the Lord. So it doesn't get better than that. And in Kali Yuga, this is the best gift we have, other than Lord Chaitanya, of course, is that Lord Jagannath has manifested this format for us. All right, it's 8:24. We have 6 minutes still. Any questions anybody has?
Prabhuji, Sanjay. Sorry, go ahead.
I have.
Go ahead, Venkatesh.
As a sole representative of South India.
No, I'm sure there are more from South India. Ragni Mataji is there, and many others are there.
Yeah, even I'm there. No problem.
Yes. So, see, for me in person, we are used to Krishna in one particular look, and how he looks in South India, it's very different from how it is. Take ISKCON, for example, how the deities are there. It is very different by the looks of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally am very, from childhood, it's one way you looked at it. Though in principle, there's no difference.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't see, it's the same way as what we see a typical South Indian Krishna statue.
So if you go to Vrindavan, the presiding deities of Vrindavan, whether it's Madan Mohan, Gopinath, all of these deities, they were actually carved by Vajranath, that is grandson of Krishna. And they were manifested, established in Vrindavan in different places. And especially Govindji, who is now worshipped in Jaipur because the Mughal kings had come to plunder, Vrindavan. So all the main deities are in Jaipur now. But if you look at them, each one of them have very close resemblance with what we have in ISKCON temples. It's because, in fact, Vajranath, when he made this deity of Govindji, I think Uttara, who's Abhimanyu's wife, she said this, he looks exactly like Krishna. And if you go to Jaipur, I hope you come someday to Jaipur. Prabhu, I tell you, you feel you're seeing Krishna face to face, eye to eye. So immaculate, so beautiful. So it's not a matter of South India, North India, and all of that. What ISKCON deities that you see are very much in that Vrindavan mood. We don't do diamonds and all of that because in Krishna and Vrindavan, he is Vanamali. He takes forest flowers and that's the garlands he wears. He wears peacock feather. He's very much a forest boy, a cowherd boy, right? And that's the mood you see, the Vraja mood. That is what you see here. Krishna and Vrindavan. If you go to Dwarka, you see Krishna in that royal mood. If you go to South India, it's majorly Krishna in the Vaikuntha mood. But here, it's Krishna, the homeboy, our intimate best friend. That's the mood here. All of those are accurate. All of those are true. And Krishna reciprocates in all of those different ways.
That's very interesting. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Avelo, can I
Yes.
add something?
Go ahead.
Recently, an interesting incident happened.
Mm-hmm.
I was almost banned by my parents not to ride a motorcycle for last 20 years. So, and I used to pray since 2020 when due to lockdown, I used to suffer for transportation issues. So I used to pray to Krishna that he solves my transportation issues and they, he convinced my parents that they allow me to buy the motorcycle. And I almost had given up. So I had stopped doing the Hare Krishna, the job. Then in 2021, I finally I decided no, I'll start the Hare Krishna again, the thing on my own. And within 48 hours, my dad changed his mind, and within 72 hours, we went to the shop, we bought the motorcycle, and then it was holding on. And then I did not even ask Krishna that
I
do
hope
this
you're
for me.
safe. So Vidaba, I was now worried about you. I saw the picture on Facebook. Be safe. You're too impulsive. I'll
Ask,
just quickly end it right now because
yeah,
it's 8:30. Shomajit, you have my number. You can always call me.
yeah. I'll call you. I'll call
I'll
you.
just respect everybody else's time.
I
Deepak is
understand.
asking, Prabhuji, where is Jaipur? Jaipur is in Rajasthan. It's a very, very popular tourist destination. But devotees go mainly for Govindji. He's the Lord of Jaipur. Anyway, thank you very much. Oh, another question is, why is it Kali Yuga called Golden Age? Only because of appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? What do you mean only because of appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? First of all, Kali Yuga is not Golden Age. Golden Age is the first 10,000 years of Kali Yuga because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's influence, his mercy is that in the first 10,000 years, there is, this period, that incubation period, you can say, where we as a Sanatan Dharma will explode throughout the world. And it will grow and it will become one of the main leading spiritual movements in the world. And after 10,000 years, it gets real Kali Yuga starts. And that's where people are living in caves and eating each other's flesh and all kinds of things that Srimad Bhagavatam describes Kali Yuga to be. With one coronavirus, we saw a little face of Kali Yuga, what one little virus can do for us. So Kali Yuga is waiting for all of that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes once in 1,000 yuga cycles of Lord Brahma. One day of Lord Brahma, 1,000 yuga cycles. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in once in 1,000 yuga cycles. One yuga cycle is 3.6 or 3.8 million years, right? So it's a very rare occurrence that Lord Chaitanya has come. And the fact that he has come, there's this gift. We have this spiritual thriving opportunity in this Kali Yuga. That's why this 10,000 years is that period where we can take birth, perfect our lives, go back home, back to Godhead, and never come back to this place again. Okay. Where in Jaipur? Oh, where in Jaipur? You go to Jaipur and ask anybody Govindaji temple. It's actually the king's palace where Govindaji has been installed. So it's a king's palace. You can just go there. Anybody will show you Govindaji. The whole city of Jaipur comes for Mangal Aarti every day. It's the most happening place in Jaipur. Okay, peace-loving warrior. Every time I ride by, I say mantra first. Oh, good. You chant before you ride. Letting Krishna hold my hand. Got it, Prabhuji. Awesome. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna, everyone. Have a good night.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.